that's how I'm getting ready for the interview.
Okay, let's get started.
Oh, sure.
So today I've invited my friend, Tanya Golechkova,
Hi.
to talk about, well, our upcoming conference and her topic in particular. So Tanya is my Delta buddy, first of all, yeah, but I also want to say a couple of words. She's an assistant professor at New Economic School, is that right?
Yep.
And she's a holder of PhD. Well, I've mentioned Delta already. What else? She's an experienced teacher trainer. Well, what not? Right? So Tanya, how would you define yourself? A conference presenter, a professor, like a university professor, or a teacher trainer?
This is a very interesting question. For a very long time, at any psychological training, and that was not a good idea to do apparently, when people asked me who you are, the first thing that popped into my head, I'm a teacher. Apparently at that time you were supposed to say that you are a person, individual, a woman, so on and so forth, but yeah, teacher. I think that's, I would still stand by it because it encompasses everything, whether you teach other teachers, you teach students, you teach yourself.
That makes sense, right, yeah. Do you think being a university professor, changes you a little bit in the way you teach?
It does. First of all, because of the context, it's quite a formalized setting, which has certain requirements, certain expectations, certain standards to a certain extent, you have fewer choices to make, but it makes you more creative and it makes you adapt better. So that there are advantages and disadvantages. Then I also tend to work with master's level students who have background in math, economics, physics. So they're all analytical learners. Most of them are high achievers. So at some point I realized that these are the features that I need to take into account when designing materials, when working with my students. And the most important thing, they're so very practical. They have learned a lot. They have broad experience, and some of them already have a very clear idea of what they need. Sometimes it overlaps with my idea of what they need. In this case, I'm lucky. Sometimes it doesn't. But that's definitely something to keep in mind. They know what they want and they're very, very practical.
Is it possible to change their mind somehow, to persuade them that they need this, not that, or something like that?
It is, but you need solid evidence. You can't say that it might come in handy in the future. No, that doesn't work. What works is, look, next time you do a job interview, you might be asked this, this, and this, and you might not know how to respond. So what we're going to do now is going to give you some ideas and language, how to deal with this situation. So something very specific.
That's really cool. Yeah, I like this idea. Actually, you gave me quite a few tips at the beginning of the previous academic year. So thank you very much. I was well prepared for the course. Yeah. Okay. I've mentioned that you're also a confident, and experienced, seasoned, let's say, conference presenter. So which conferences have you participated in and presented at?
I've presented both at Russian and international conferences. Speaking about Russian conferences, it's been an ESP, English for Specific Purposes, and EMI, English as a medium of instruction at the Mises University. Also, the Russian Association of Foreign English Teachers, I forgot the name. What's the name of the Russian Association of Foreign Language Teachers?
CELTA?
I think that's the Moscow one. I'm so ashamed of myself right now.
It must be NATE or something.
NATE, exactly. NATE. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. I think I've participated. I've spoken at their events like 3 or 4 times. That's why I feel really guilty not remembering the name. So yeah, these ones. And also I've participated in international conferences like IATEFL in Britain. And also there is an association called BALIP, British Association of Lecturers of Academic Writing. So I've been a member of this organization, and I once talked about my experience of transition of working with students who move from secondary education to a whole new level of higher education. Oh, that was a very interesting thing to
Wow, I'm sure the topic was just great. Yeah, for everyone.
For me, definitely, it was very useful.
Yeah, okay. So it helped you help your students, basically. That's a kind of play on words. Yeah, helping yourself. Yeah, do something for others.
No, but that's exactly what it did. And it also helped me understand what's going on. And when you understand the causes of something, you can deal with with what's going on.
Yeah, thanks. Cool. That's really well, not saying promising, but obviously impressive. Yeah, there is something to learn from that. And you have already delivered quite a few workshops, talks for our community.
Love them.
Mm-hmm. So the topic of your talk for our June conference is called something like, does that answer your question, or teaching soft skills?
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds really cool, but what exactly you'll be talking about? I'm quite curious.
Right. I wanted to build some suspense, and judging by your response, I did it. I hope that you don't find this suspense off-putting or misleading or confusing.
No. We love it.
Yeah. Basically, what I wanted to talk is I wanted to share my experience of designing soft skill materials and planning soft skills courses and integrating soft skills into our university level. But I think this experience could be used on multiple levels and in multiple contexts. Because at some point I realized that the way it is presented in course books does not necessarily work for our students. And it creates some resistance. And since teaching soft skills is basically telling people to become slightly different people, which is challenging, time-consuming, sometimes exhausting. And when the materials cause resistance, it doesn't help on any level.
Absolutely.
Besides, like I said earlier, our students are quite practical and pragmatic. So teaching, or learning in this case, soft skills, developing soft skills for the sake of developing soft skills doesn't really work. So I wanted to summarize my experience of teaching different kinds of soft skills. So that's the second part of the title of my talk. And the first part comes from the specific example that I'll be using. I would like to share my materials and my approach to teaching something that our students find quite helpful, and I think presenters on any level, teachers, conference speakers in general, might find useful. That is dealing with problematic questions. So this is one of the really, really big soft skills that enable you to, on the one hand, sound knowledgeable and not lose face when you have no idea what the question is about. And on the other hand, somehow handle the situation in a way that would be satisfactory to the questioner, to the person who asks the question.
That's amazing. That sounds like a life hack.
Let's see if I can do it in 1 hour.
Life hacks yet, yeah? So still, I'm sure all the participants will be eager to take part in that workshop. But it sounds really useful for everyone.
I'll try to find a balance between being theoretical and practical, and yeah, that's why I also included this does that answer your question thing, because I'm hoping not only to tell people but also to show, to engage, maybe to work on multiple levels. On the one hand, working on our skills of dealing with problematic questions, and on the other hand, see how it can be dealt in our classrooms.
That's great. That sounds amazing. So as far as I understood, this topic is relevant for both inexperienced teachers and someone with great experience who has presented already at some conferences and so on. Is that right?
Since I'm hoping to be dealing with the topic on multiple levels, and I hope that everybody will be able to find something useful. If the teaching tips are very, very familiar and obvious to some of the people, my hope is that they might be less familiar with this particular topic of handling questions or saying that you don't know something or avoiding answering questions. If somebody is really good at avoiding answering questions, maybe they will find something useful in recommendations for designing soft skills materials, because that will be quite generic and they can be applied to various contexts and various skills.
So theoretical, practical, from the teacher's perspective, from the student's perspective, everything will be there, right?
And yes, and I'll have 60 minutes, so let's see if I can do that.
No, not 60, 1 hour and a half. Ta-da!
That's good news. That's really good news. Because I'm just saying that
it's okay. You can keep it a 60-minute session. We'll do fine actually, because we need a longer break in between some sessions.
I think so. Yeah. But you see, anything that's bigger than 10 minutes sounds wonderful, because last conference I participated in had the time limit of 10 minutes, and I was like, when I first heard the time limit, I thought, okay, I will take this time just to generate interest. How am I supposed to share any content in that, and let alone engage the audience? So yeah, I'm perfectly happy with whatever time you've got.
Okay, awesome. So we'll clarify
bigger
that.
than 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's not really an issue. Okay, right. So everything that you've just told us is fantastic. Good news. Everyone is curious already. We kept the suspense. Yeah, and hopefully everyone is just eager to come to the conference and take part in all the workshops, including yours. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to the opportunity. And as you mentioned earlier, I've already given a few workshops and absolutely loved the engagement. I love the audience. We've always had a variety of teachers present, from self-employed through secondary school, university, language school, business English schools. And we all managed to learn not only from the presenters, but from each other as well. So this is something I'm really, really looking forward to. And I think this is incredibly valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't agree more. Thank you very much. And yeah, come to our conference, guys.